When Ion was 7 years old, his grandmother's house felt like a magical place. It had a special smell, a mix of old books and warm, comforting tea. The old clock on the wall ticked so loudly, it was as if it had something very important to say with each passing second. Every single evening, without fail, Grandma would sit right beside him on the big soft couch and tell him the exact same story. It was about a little boy who once got lost but, against all odds, found his way back home. Ion absolutely loved it. He couldn't get enough. He would interrupt with a flurry of questions, his eyes wide with curiosity. He'd burst out laughing at all the funny parts, even though he knew them by heart. To him, every word felt brand new, as if he were hearing it for the very first time. As soon as she finished, he'd look up at her and say, "Tell it again, Grandma," and she always did, with a gentle smile. To Ion's father, that story felt familiar. A little too familiar, if he was being honest. He remembered hearing it as a child himself, the very same words, the same deliberate pauses for effect. Back then, he just thought it was a simple, adventurous tale. But now, as an adult, juggling a stressful job, endless bills, and the silent worries that come with being a parent, he realized something profound. The story wasn't really about adventure at all. It was about fear. It was about patience. It was about a parent waiting, their heart racing in their chest, hoping and praying that their child would return home safely. He noticed that each time his mother told the story to Ion, she would glance over at him, just for a second. And in that one fleeting look, he finally understood. She wasn't just telling a story, she was remembering. To Grandma, the story was never really a story. It was a memory, etched into her heart. Many, many years ago, her own Sunyon's father had wandered off in a crowded, bustling market. It was only for a few minutes, but those minutes stretched into an eternity. She remembered the pure, cold fear that gripped her, the desperate prayers she whispered under her breath, and then the overwhelming, soul-shaking relief when she finally found him. She told the story again and again, not because her memory was failing, but because she remembered it all too well. It was her way of processing that moment, of holding on to the lesson it taught her. And because love, true love, doesn't age or fade. Each time she told it, she carefully wrapped that old, sharp fear into words gentle enough for a child's ears, and yet strong enough to resonate with an adult's heart. One evening, Ion sat on the couch, nestled comfortably between his father and his grandmother. "Tell the story," he said, his voice full of eager anticipation. Grandma smiled warmly. As she began to speak the familiar words, a beautiful scene unfolded. Ion listened with pure, unadulterated wonder, completely lost in the magic of the tale. His father listened with a newfound understanding, a quiet empathy filling his chest, and Grandma, she listened to the sound of their breathing, steady, safe, together. In that quiet living room, there were 3 generations, 3 very different perspectives, all bound together by one single, unbreakable love. It's amazing how one story can mean so many different things, all at the same time. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.